Alright guys, so here we are for another episode of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship, and oh my god. Let's do this. So here we are in Singapore for round 14 of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship, and we're jumping straight into Q3 here, simply because nothing else really happened from all the other sessions apart from our championship rival Lewis Hamilton dropping out in Q2. He qualified in 11th place, so this is going to make a massive difference in the context of this championship. So pretty much what we need to do is just maximize this session and try and get pole position to put ourselves in, I guess, the box seat to win the race in tomorrow's race. So here we go, Q3. I think we've had quite a bit of pace in this session so far, so we're looking good for maybe a front row of the grid start for the race. But you know, either way, I think we're looking good. We went for extra downforce in this setup for this Grand Prix, so fingers crossed it works. The soft compound tyre, or the super soft compound tyre, should really work for the Ferrari, and it should work for my driving style as well. As we said, a 45.1, 1.1 seconds quicker than Kevin Magnussen's best so far, and I actually think we returned to the garage on that. And just waiting for the rest of the front runners to try and beat it, and turns out they didn't, so it looks like we'll end up on pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix, and it's actually been a really long time between drinks in terms of pole position starts. So we're looking good. Fernando, our teammate, ends up in P5. So we're looking good for a really good result in this session here in Singapore. And as you can see there, we've got Lewis Hamilton dropping out in Q2. That's the results there. Also, Daniel Ricciardo not doing too well in 12th place either. So it's a bit of a mixed up grid here. As we can see, Rosberg is down the order in 7th place as well. So both the Mercedes starting down the order. We're starting on the front row of the grid. We've got Fernando in between us and the Mercedes as well. So hopefully he can be a bit of a rear gunner for us in this Grand Prix as we aim to reclaim the drivers and constructors lead of the championship. So here we are in the pre-race lobby. We can see we've got a two-stop strategy on our hands, and if we believe the hype around our tyre wear, then we should be able to make that stick fairly easily, maybe even do a one-stop if the tyre wear is as good as what everyone says it is. But either way, we're just running through the setup now just to show you guys that we are running with increased aero. Singapore, a high downforce circuit, it should really play into our hands a little bit with the soft compound tyres as well. For this race, we really need to maximise as many points as we can while the Mercedes are starting down the order. Wish me luck. So here we are in Singapore, starting from pole position. We need to maximize this race to get as many points as we can over the Mercedes, and away we go here in Singapore. Looks like we've actually got off to a decent start for the first time in a very long time, leaving Vettel and Magnussen, the car behind us, in a cloud of dust. And either way, we come through turn 1 now fairly comprehensively in the lead. We've got Vettel about almost 2 or 3 seconds behind us there. We've absolutely left him for chips there with the rest of the field here. So for the start of this race, we pretty much need to maximize this opening lap or two as the AI, I guess, take a little while for their tyre temps to get up to temperature, and just, I guess they are a little bit slow on the first lap, maybe even saving a bit of fuel as well. So we need to maximize that as much as we can, because the tyre wear around Singapore could be pretty deadly, as the wheel spin is a big talking point on this game, and it is around this track as well. So we need to minimize the amount of wheel spin we get through a lot of the slower corners around this track. That just means putting the car down into lean just to minimize the wheel spin and keep the tyre temps down to a reasonable temperature. We can see on lap 4, Hamilton has set the fastest lap of the race on a 47.7. I believe he's picked himself through a few cars now as we make a little mistake here on lap 7. We've got Vettel now going up the inside into the old Singapore sling, but we maintain first place around the outside for now. Lap 9, this is a scheduled lap to come in for our pit stop, and I can't stress this enough, guys, how tough it was to get our super soft tyres to lap 9. I was absolutely having to nurse my tyres so much throughout these 9 laps that we actually lost the 3 or 4 second lead we had. It's just, I don't know, it's just so hard to put in words just how much we really did struggle in this first stint. Even though we led the whole way, it really was a battle just to keep the car on the track and just make sure we didn't make any mistakes or just put it in the wall, really. So either way, we're going to come out in effectively first place. We can see a few cars have opted to go on for another lap, including our teammate Fernando Alonso, who's moved himself up a couple of positions so far. But now on the very next lap, we can see the majority of the front runners now who haven't made their stops, they're making their stops now, and that should release us into the lead of the Grand Prix, and it does. And I think for those guys who just stopped, I think that's going to hurt them a little bit, as a lot of the other cars got the undercut on them, and they actually made up a lot of time over those guys. So either way, lap 14, we put on the prime tyres, the soft compound tyres, and for whatever reason, I just felt a lot more comfortable, even though there is a little bit less grip in these tyres. It just felt a lot more consistent. It allowed me to push a little bit more. But now, speaking of pushing, Lewis Hamilton is now doing that. I believe he's up into 4th place now. So he's looking very good at the moment, as we can see lap 21. The majority of the cars directly behind me, they all went for super softs throughout this middle stint. And that's why they've already stopped, and now we're coming in for another set of primes, because I wanted to go safe here. I just wanted to have a good set of tyres for the end of the race, just to avoid any complications with tyre wear or anything like that, because I actually did come in a lap earlier than what I should have, and if I would have stopped now for option tyres, I would have seriously fell off the cliff at the end of the race. So I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go safe and have a decent set of tyres for the end of the race. So rejoining on the track, we're in P4. We can see Rosberg is in front of us in 3rd place. But we don't need to worry about him at the moment. He hasn't stopped yet. So too with the cars in front of us. Hamilton once again pushing on a 47.2. And throughout the rest of this stint, I think I was trying to push as much as I can, just trying to build that lead to Hamilton, who's now in 2nd place. So Hamilton, who started 11th place, he's got himself up into 2nd. So just like in Monza, he's absolutely piled through the field to get himself up into a decent track position. And now we can see the lead is out to 5 seconds. But unfortunately, this was the turning point in the Grand Prix. The tables have now turned, and now Hamilton is now turning up the wick. He's at a 46.5, 2/10 quicker than my previous best. But now my tyres have sort of seen their best days now. Now they're starting to go off a little bit, as we can see Hamilton is 8/10 back, and he's within that DRS window now. So we need to be wary of him. As look at the straight line speed from that Mercedes. That is absolutely ridiculous. Having to go defensive now, as Hamilton is really looking like he's on the charge here in this Grand Prix. Having to go defensive once again into the hairpin. He's going to have a better exit for this left-hander. And this is just a massive sequence of corners, having to go defensive on Hamilton, who's just got so much pace and so much traction so far in this Grand Prix. We maintain the lead for now, but I don't know how long we can maintain this for, as I think we catch to the final lap now. We can see Hamilton is just behind us. We've just managed to keep our rear tyres in check in terms of temperature. I guess that's the critical thing in this Grand Prix, to make sure we minimise that wheel spin and keep the rear tyres in decent working condition. But either way, with only a couple of corners left to go, I think surely we should be able to maintain this championship win. Or not championship win, race win here in Singapore. That'd be a disaster if we won the championship in this race. But either way, we haven't won a race in over a month since Silverstone. Coming up to the line, we finally won another race in this championship. Great drive. You dominated the whole weekend. Pole and the race win. Fantastic. Finally, after almost a month of not winning any races on this game, we finally got the breakthrough against Lewis Hamilton, who was looking really threatening in the end there. 2/10 the margin. Vettel in third, Hulkenberg fourth, who was looking really good for a second place finish there, but unfortunately he just got jumped in the stops there. But once again, Lewis Hamilton, he's a man on the mission so far in this career mode championship. I'm not too sure if we can stop him. Let me know in the comments down below if you think we can win the championship over Lewis Hamilton. It's going to be awfully tough to beat him, but either way in the drives, we've reduced the margin now down to 16 points. Rosberg is 76 points behind us in third place. Alonso had a bit of an average race there, didn't he? Didn't really come through the field like I really expected him to. But yeah, make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed the video. That'd be very much appreciated. In terms of the constructors, we're closing the gap to Mercedes, but you'd have to say we need to close the gap a little bit more better than what we are at the moment. We need to continuously beat Mercedes for, I guess, the rest of the championship. And hopefully Alonso can deliver as well. So that's been this episode of Career Mode for today. The next race should be in Japan, and it should be a really good track for just pure racing. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. But until then, guys, I'll see you next time.